Right, so here we are for our second tutorial in the lamination project. To start with, we're going to extrude this large, the long sides out, and then we're going to extrude the short sides out. So to start with, we're going to highlight this side, hold down shift to highlight all three sides, and we're going to use our extrude tool, or E for shortcut. Now I quite like to roll the drawing around a little bit while I'm doing this so that I can see what's going on. Now this is going to be extruded from the offset, and the offset distance is 42 millimeters, and then the total distance of the offset is 8. So what we've done is we've drawn 42 millimeters from this point here to the edge, and then we've got 8 more millimeters. That's given us a total of 50. Now that 50 on that side, and then in a minute 50 on the other side, is going to add up to a total of 100 for the width of the project. The last thing we need to do is click a new component here. Now this is critical for this whole project. Every time we do an extrusion, we need to create a new component, otherwise all the pieces are going to be locked together and we won't be able to separate them out later. So this is something that I just need you to be mindful of throughout throughout this drawing, and let's click OK to go. So there's our component there. Let's click on that and just call it, let's call it long 1, and that, so we know that that's one of the longer sides. So, and we'll turn that back off, and we'll go back to the sketch and turn it on, and we're going to extrude again. So, let's try that again. And then E for extrude. We're going in the opposite direction this time, negative 42, and offset plane. Got that wrong, haven't I? Negative 8 and negative 42. Because we're going backwards, both these measurements have to be in the negative. And remember again, new component as we put that in place. So now we've got our next side, which we're calling long 2. So we can turn both the sides on now. Let's just turn the sketch off for a minute. The next thing we want to do is put a mitre on these corners. Now, Fusion 360 doesn't call it a mitre, they call it a chamfer. So you can click in here and come down to chamfer, and we are going to, because it's 8mm thick, we're going to chamfer that 8 millimeters like that, and that's put the mitre straight onto the corners for you. And let's do it on the other side as well. Okay. So now we've got our 2 long sides, and now our next job is to draw our short sides. We'll just turn those off while we're working on the short sides. Let's get this orientated around the right way again before we start. So just a little bit of a twist. And we're going to start with, we're going to extrude. We take this side and we're extruding it symmetrically, and the total length is going to be 100 millimeters. Again, we're going to create a new component. That's okay. So this component is short 1, and then we're going to do the same again. Extrude, E for extrude, click over here, symmetrical, total length 100, and new component. Then we need to chamfer again, so we should be able to just turn that sketch off so it's out of the way. Typing in 8, that's correct. So short 2. Turn that one off. And we'll scroll around. For those two. Distance for that is 8mm. Okay, so now it's quite cool to turn all the sides on, and you can see how your box comes together nicely, and as you zoom into the top of it there, you can see, like if we turn off that long side there, you can see how all the miters have worked around those corners. So that's our second tutorial. In the next tutorial we're going to look at how we put the rebate into the bottom to hold the base, and how to draw the base as well.